Democratic Senator Debbie Stabenow retiring at the end of her current term. It leaves a vacancy in the Senate.
Since her announcement, 3 Democrats have thrown their hats into the ring, including Nasser Beydoun, who was on our show last Wednesday, and 2 Republicans, Nikki Snyder, who was here yesterday, and tonight, Michael Hoover, who joins us.
Michael is joining us now, and you have not held political office before, so why are you thinking to just go straight for the gusto in the Senate?
Well, 2 years ago, I had some people contact me and consider asking me. They didn't consider. They did ask me. They asked me to consider running for governor, and at the time, I said yes. But we also had a couple of different businesses going on. We were doing 2 renovation projects, and the other one was we were in the process of selling our business, one of them. And my wife said, "Let's go to Florida." So we took a break, and she literally rented a place called Wind Down. And after some time, I wound down and said,
I'm very jealous.
It's not my time, is it? And she said, "I don't think so." So very caring, smart woman. But after the last 2 years, we kind of regrouped, and we said, you know what? Talk to the people in the industry, if you will, friends, family, pastor. And they said, yes, we think this would be a good move for our state.
So what would you say to someone that is thinking about, hey, maybe they're going to vote for you here, and they say, well, he has no experience at all in government. We've seen it in the past with the presidential race.
Yes.
Donald Trump had no experience in politics. So in your situation, no experience, what makes you qualify to be able to go ahead and do this?
I think it's experience, because I'm a small business owner, and I've been doing amazing things my entire career. I think this campaign's all about trust. And I've been trusted as a family man for over 40 years. With my wife, we were high school sweethearts, and we've been together. I've been trusted to do innovation for the automotive industry, where we came up with the idea to use Tide and Downy bottles, HDPE bottles we throw away, and we've displaced about 500 million pounds from going into the landfill, being used into our cars. So instead of having landfills full of plastic, which would be about the same, about 3,000 times filling up Ford Field, that's now being used into the automotive industry. So I've got a lot of different experience in a lot of different areas, and I'm a very creative person, a lot of solutions, and I've been trusted my entire life.
It's all amazing. I think it's also good to point out you have a variety of small businesses that you're managing at the same time.
That's correct. Thank you for asking or mentioning that.
Yeah.
So one of the things we did as far as the community, being involved with the community and working with governments and working with townships, we had a local township where the recycling center wasn't doing so well, and they asked me to step in and act as a small business owner and take that over. So here we are 12 years later, and we're one of the best recycling centers in the greater Lansing area. We recycle everything from mattresses to cardboard to glass to styrofoam and all the normal
and everything
recyclables.
in between.
Everything in between. And even yard waste, we turn that into compost, and it's been a successful big hit working with the local government.
If you're elected, is there a #1 issue that you want to tackle, or are there multiple issues that you say, hey, we have to fix this?
Yeah, so I really think it comes back to trust. I think that's the first issue. Everybody, hear these code words like unify. We need to get unified. No, we need to come together on trust. When I grew up, in my time frame, everybody was about trust. We trusted our neighbors. We trusted each other. We worked for the common good. Everybody loved America. They wanted to be America, and America was #1 for a good reason. And I think it's based on that. So we got to come back to trust, and then from there we can tackle all those issues. But we first got to make sure that we stand on the truth, we speak the truth, and we live the truth. And that's what I'm going to do every single time that there's a new issue that comes up. And then we can get into education.
What issue are you passionate about? What issue would you say that we have to tackle here?
Sure. I think we have to tackle education. That's first and foremost, because if you don't have, we have trust, that's great. Now we have to have great education. And one of the things that we're for is education or freedom. So I've been visiting cities all across the state. And some states or some cities are great. Okemos, West Bloomfield, their schools are phenomenal. Well, some schools are not. And they want education or freedom to have their kids to be able to go to another school, or maybe it's safer. And we've got a new bill that's going through Congress right now that gives you that option. And it's allowed to do a tax credit. And then you can take that money, it goes to a non-governmental fund, and then parents and students can take advantage of that by applying for it, and they can get a scholarship to go to a private school, a public school, or a tech school.
Do you have any nervousness, though, that some of that would maybe make some of the schools that aren't performing so well even worse? Is there a plan to help maybe uplift those at the same time?
I'm so glad you asked. Of course there is.
Good.
So what we would do is when we have a lot of schools that aren't performing up to standard, So what we call for is to take the superintendent and the school board that's currently in place and displace them because they're not getting the job done. And we've actually saw this done successfully over in Benton Harbor for a short period of time. And so what we would do is bring in a proven performer as superintendent, and that superintendent would then run the school, and they would report back to the county board, and they would continue to take care of things until the school was corrected and fixed the way it should be.
You obviously don't have the experience in politics,
Yeah.
but what do you think separates you from every other candidate here?
Well, I think that is experience. Because I've worked globally. I've worked with CEOs of $100 billion operations. I've been in Germany, I've been in Poland, I've been in Nicaragua, so I understand what it's like to work globally as well as here in the state of Michigan. So it's all the experience that I bring to the table. And then I also, I was raised by two factory workers. One worked at Tecumseh Products and one worked at Fisher Guide. And so I'm really comfortable working with the floor workers as well. And actually that's where I'm comfortable, and I'm passionate about bringing the working class and giving them better jobs and bringing their jobs back home from wherever they're at. And certainly we have a lot of our manufacturing base went to China, and we need to bring those jobs home, and we got a plan for that too.
All right, well, thank you so much, Republican candidate for Senate, Michael Hoover. Thank you so much for being here tonight.
Thanks for
Thank
having me.
you.
It was great.